Hello viewers, you are watching International Wild. Kindly subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notification of the latest uploaded videos.
Welcome to the International Wild, the War and Peace Report. In Guatemala, progressive politician Bernardo Arevalo has declared a decisive victory in a presidential runoff election against former First Lady Sandra Torres. Arevalo, leader of the Samia party, took nearly 60% of the vote Sunday. He's vowed to fight corruption and push for social reforms. His supporters poured into the streets of Guatemala City to celebrate. People says that they will be able to dream of a different Guatemala, a hope. Little by little they will abolish poverty. There's new hope for Guatemala. Guatemalans are happy and are telling these corrupt politicians that they must respect the vote. Bernardo Arevalo is the son of the former president Juan José Arevalo, Guatemala's first democratically elected president, to push for revolutionary policies when he was in office from 1945 to 51. Ecuadorians also took to the polls Sunday for a snap presidential election. Leftist Luiso González took the lead in the first round and will face Daniel Noboa in a runoff election in October, as neither candidate won over half the vote on the first round. González is a member of former President Rafael Cardea's Citizen Revolution Movement Party. Noboa is a businessman whose father Álvaro Noboa is one of Ecuador's wealthiest people. Álvaro Noboa is a banana industry magnate who previously ran for president, has been accused of multiple tax and labor violations. Luis González spoke to support her Sunday. At least 3 political leaders were killed ahead of Sunday's election, including presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio. On Sunday, Ecuadorian voters also overwhelmingly supported a historic referendum blocking oil extraction in the Amazon's Yasuni National Park, the largest protected area in Ecuador with massive petroleum reserves crossing through indigenous Yasuni land. The effort was spearheaded by indigenous leaders and environmental defenders. The group Yasunido said on social media, quote, "This is the first time a nation chooses to defend life and leave petroleum underground." Tropical storm Hillary made landfall Sunday in Baja California, Mexico, and shortly after in Southern California, where authorities have warned of life-threatening floods. One person died in Mexico when their vehicle was swept away in water. School districts in Southern California, Nevada have canceled classes in Palm Springs. The 911 emergency phone system was knocked out Sunday evening, as residents of California's desert towns say they've never witnessed such extreme storms. Further in Washington state, one person died in a growing wind-fueled wildfire near the city of Spokane. Governor Jay Inslee declared a state of emergency. Governor said, "There's a beast at our door, and that's the beast of climate change. It seems like the whole world is on fire today." Canada, with over 1,000 fires burning in Canada. Maui, with Lahaina burnt to the ground. Now Spokane County and 35,000 acres and fire today in Washington state. Canada is sending its military to help tackle its record-breaking wildfires in British Columbia. So far, more than 35,000 people have been evacuated in Hawaii. The death toll from the Maui wildfires has reached 114, with over 1,000 people still missing. President Biden's meeting today with federal, state, and local officials as well as survivors in Hawaii. Niger's military junta said it's open to talks following the July 26 coup and has proposed a 3-year transition to civilian rule. CU leader Abdul Rahman Chani announced the plan after meeting with delegates from the West African regional bloc ECOWAS, which has threatened military intervention and imposed sanctions on Niger. On Sunday, thousands of coup supporters rallied in the Niger capital Niamey in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. At least 6 children were killed in a fire at a camp for displaced flood victims. The blaze started as a child was cooking unsupervised, burning down hundreds of makeshift tarp dwellings. Even said some 3,000 families lost their homes after recent intense flooding and mudslides in eastern DRC. Egypt's authoritarian President Abdel Fattah DC has pardoned nearly 3 dozen political prisoners, including a leader of the Arab Spring uprising that ousted then-President Hosni Mubarak in 2011. Ahmaduma was freed Saturday from the notorious Butter prison after nearly a decade behind bars. In 2013 he and 2 Other protest leaders were arrested for violating a law effectively banning public protest. His lawyer Khalid Ali welcomed Dumas' release but called on Egyptian authorities to set other political prisoners free. Saudi border guards have killed hundreds of Ethiopian migrants and asylum seekers who've tried to cross the Yemen-Saudi border since March 2022. That's according to a new investigation by Human Rights Watch that relies on first-hand accounts from 42 people, over 100 verified videos and photos, and an analysis of satellite imagery. We found evidence that Saudi border guards have used explosive weapons and shot people at close range in what appears to be a policy targeting migrants and asylum seekers, including women and children. At the border, Human Rights Watch believes this may amount to crimes against humanity. Saudi Arabia's border forces should stop seeking with explosive weapons. President Biden held a new era for cooperation between the U.S. South Korea and Japan as he hosted leaders of the two nations at Camp David Friday. It was the first such meeting between the three countries of South Korea and Japan pursue a rapprochement in the face of what they call dangerous and aggressive behavior by China in the South China Sea. The three heads of state also discussed North Korea. President Biden said, "We're doubling down on information sharing, including on the DARC's missile launches and cyber activities, strengthening our ballistic missile defense cooperation, and critically, we've all committed to swiftly consult with each other in responsive threats to any one of our countries from whatever source it occurs." The Biden administration will recommend COVID-19 booster shots for all this fall toward against a new wave of infections. Vaccine makers will submit updated versions of their shots for regulatory approval that protect against the subvariants driving current infections Eris and Fornax. While cases are on the rise, they still remain comparatively low. U.S. officials will also recommend everyone get their flu shots and RSV shots. In New York, Governor Kathy Hochul signed a bill banning the release of nuclear wastewater into the Hudson River. The legislation came after campaigning by activists and local communities to stop Holtec International, the owner of the decommissioned Indian Point nuclear facility, from dumping 1 million gallons of radioactive water into the Hudson. The group Food and Water Watch celebrated the law for, quote, prioritizing public health and the environment over corporate expediency, adding, quote, "Today we celebrate the power of our communities over corporations."